So it is 6:13 in the morning. Thanks for watching the channel. I'm out for a beautiful Sunday morning solo ride just to get out in nature and clear the head and have some fun on the 450L. One thing I haven't done since I started this is talk about why I picked this bike over other bikes. I'm an amateur. I have ridden quads and done rock crawling and every other type of off-roading there is, but I've never had a two-wheeler. And when these first came out, I was searching and I kind of wanted to get into something different and a little more physical, a little bit more skill involved, and I just wanted to try something new. Any way I can get out into the desert is a win for me. So I knew whatever bike I chose that I would be happy and would be fun to get out and do something different. But I like adventure. I like going to see things. I like trails that take me places. I like seeing what nature has to offer in different areas and exploring. And so I was looking for a bike that would not just take me on a motocross track, not just take me on a single track, but something that would do a little bit of everything that I threw at it. The specs for the 450L, looking at it with the 6-speed tranny, wide ratio, the electronic fuel injection. I'm a big fan of fuel injection and automotive stuff. So I liked that. I did not want a 5-speed. I just knew that was going to limit me on connection trails and stuff like that. I wanted something that was not necessarily a dual sport, but something that could do a little bit of everything and not limit me to where I wanted to go. So if I wanted to ride a single track and then jump on the highway and zip across and pull off on a 2-track and then run a forest road that you need a license plate for and then jump back on a single track, I was good to go with this bike. Some of the things it comes with I also liked. I liked the LED headlights, turn signals from the factory. All that stuff is integrated and nicely done by Honda. I liked the suspension is straight from a motocross bike. It's not like a cheap suspension that they throw on a dual sport bike that is limited. I like the fact that I could take the bike and put whatever tires I wanted onto it and make it into whatever I wanted by what tires I put on it. So I modified the bike more for off-road. I don't do much on-road with it, but when I do on-road with it, it does a great job. It'll hold highway speeds. I've ridden it, a couple 100 miles on the highway, and it's done just fine. It's definitely not a street bike. It's a dirt bike on the highway, but it holds its own and does everything there. It's definitely not a dedicated tool for one job. It's a Swiss Army knife bike, I would call it. Whereas like a steak knife is like your KTM 300 for single track, this is more of your Swiss Army knife for everything. So it doesn't do one thing the best of any bike, but it does everything well, and that's what I was looking for. Some of the features I like I touched on, the 6-speed tranny was the biggie. The slightly detuned 450, so it still has the power for the highway, but they lowered the compression a little bit, they changed the camshaft profile, and they added a flywheel weight to it. The flywheel is heavier than a normal 450. So those things I saw, they did that for emissions and to tone the bike down, but I saw that as a benefit for single track and for technical trails, because a normal 450 with its high compression stalls incredibly easy and doesn't have that flywheel weight, so they're just not fun to ride on technical stuff. I had a 450 quad, Honda quad, and I know how the 450 motors work, and this one with its slightly detuned state works very well once you get used to it. Actually works really well in technical stuff. I've been very pleased with it. You've seen some of my other videos and going through rocks and going through other stuff, and it does pretty well. I've already kind of gone over what I've added to it. I've taken a lot of stuff off of it to remove some weight. Just recently I pulled the emissions stuff off of it because I mostly use it off-road, so I don't feel too bad about doing that. It's not my daily driver. I got rid of the little plastic chain guard there. Didn't think I needed that. I just changed my chain and sprocket this past weekend. Went to the DID chain and Renthal sprockets. They were due for a change. But overall, the bike's been bulletproof. I haven't been able to hurt it. It's always got up and kept going. Nothing's broke on it. It's been dead nuts Honda reliable. And that's what I was looking for, is something that I could get out and not fear having problems with. And if there is an issue, it's going to be something of a wear component, and it's going to be my own fault for not noticing it before I get on the trail. So with the few tools that I carry with me and the supplies I have, I should be able to get home. Believe it or not, I've actually, being a first bike, 450 is not the greatest way to start for a first time two-wheeler rider, but I was used to the 450 Honda ATV, a sport ATV, so I kind of knew how the power would hit and all that stuff, and so I was used to that, and I knew that if I had a lot less power that I was going to probably be a little disappointed, and I figured that I would eventually get used to it, and I have, and that's why I've modified it and got more power out of it. And I just love the heck out of this bike. It's been so much fun. I've done a little bit of everything with it, just like I intended, and I plan to keep doing that. There's a few little things that people throw away, like the plastic case guards. Honda put them on there for noise emissions, but you know, a lot of people in the enduro stuff buy those aftermarket for their KTMs and other bikes and put them on to protect their cases. So that was something that it came with that I thought was super cool. Most people throw them away, but I think it's actually a really neat idea. And it saves, you know, wear from your boots and stuff like that. Once they get trashed and torn up, you just take them off, put a new cover on, and your motor looks fresh again. The turn signals have held up really well, despite sticking out a little bit. I did break one of the rear ones, but I was able to simply glue it back together, and it's been holding on there just fine. You know, I've made some parts for this myself. I've bought some parts, a lot of parts for this thing to change it into more of an off-road bike, but I'm really happy with the platform I started with. So if you're considering a 450L, consider it a Swiss Army knife. Don't buy it thinking it's a steak knife. And as long as you don't think you're buying a dedicated bike for one purpose, and you realize it's set up for a little bit of everything, you're gonna love it. You're gonna have a ton of fun with it. It's got gobs of power, especially with the Vortex and the FMF exhaust. It just really woke it up. Taking some weight off of it helped. It is a little bit on the portly side out of the box, and I wanted to take some weight back off of it because I know I added weight to it with all the guards and protection that I put on it and the heavier tires. So there you have it. That's why I bought a 450L. Do I regret my purchase? Absolutely not. Sometimes when I'm doing really technical single track, I would love to try a dedicated enduro bike for that kind of stuff, but this bike will get you there, and it will do just about anything. So it's a great Arizona bike, and I've really had a lot of fun with it, and I've ride this thing every single Sunday. I look forward to riding it almost every single Sunday, and there's not a weekend that I'm like, man, I don't want to go riding. This thing just makes me wake up and want to go have an adventure. So that's what I was looking for, something to add some adventure and do it in a different way, and it's been an absolute blast.